Good afternoon, it is 1:15 PM here on Thursday the 1st of April 2021. My name is Aaron Hunt, I'm a partner here at Stace Hammond and I head up the Migration Partners team. As always, this is not legal advice, this is purely just our commentary on immigration in New Zealand. If you want legal advice, there's a link in the description below with an email address. Get in contact with us, we will try to respond when we can. It can take a couple of days at times because we are quite busy and clients come first. We weren't planning to do a video today, but we do look out for what's happening in immigration and what we see being announced, and this is coming through, it's just come through. I have an alert set up for any immigration press releases from the Beehive being the government here in New Zealand, and this is purely off the cuff. I haven't written a script, this is just my comments as I look at what's in front of me now. Now, the way the law works here is that when Covid-19 hit, the government made a number of emergency bits of legislation which allowed the government to do certain things, to act quickly, to make changes as required for the country to adapt for the changing situations. One of those was the Immigration Covid-19 Response Amendment Bill, which was put in place, would have been May, I think, last year, 2020. That was meant to expire May 2021. Now, this was a legislation that was used 18 times, generally to extend visas, to make things easier for those who were onshore in New Zealand already. They sort of made little changes to the law. Now, that was due to expire May 2021, and of course, we all know that that wasn't going to be the end of this whole situation. There's still got a while to go before things go back to normal. The question, of course, I get asked a lot, so often we get asked, when is the border opening, when are things going back, when are we going to have, this visa open or that visa open, or when can this person apply? And we try to answer to all of your questions as honestly as we can, which often is we just don't know. There's been no indication from government, so we do sort of at times we'll look at what's going on and try to find an answer, but a lot of the time we just cannot say, because there's just no information as to what these things are going to be. Now, what this thing today, was that this allowance under this legislation that gives him, the Honourable Chris Whafoi, the Minister of Immigration, ability to do certain things, has been extended. What's interesting though is that it's been extended not until, say, the end of this year, when we're sort of picking, hopefully the border will start to open, or even sort of May 2022, but to May 2023, which is a very long extension. This will give him these sort of emergency powers around immigration for another 2 years. Now, we had discussions a lot about, of course, the vaccines rolling out. Schemes rolled out here is starting now. They've vaccinated the frontline staff, and they're vaccinating the people who are involved in the MIQ, the isolation, people coming to the country, the hotels. They're getting vaccinated. Those staff who are on the front line who aren't vaccinated, who refuse to be vaccinated, are being moved off the front line to other work. And then they're sort of rolling it out to other areas depending on the demographics, the area they're in, the age, that sort of thing. So my father, who's in his 70s, will get the vaccine the next sort of month or two. Me being, I suppose, normal, I suppose not normal, but sort of that part of average sort of group, no sort of extraneous or susceptible sort of parts to me. I'm looking at, I think it's July or August is when I'm looking at getting my that group of vaccination starts. So not really that month, but it could be sort of July, August, or up to sort of October sort of time, because they get to do millions of us. So we are still looking at having the vaccinations all done, 2 rounds done, by the end of this year. So that is the hope, and there was a lot of hope for people that when the vaccinations were done and we had vaccinations happening overseas and some sort of vaccine passport, that things would start going back to normal. So we were hoping end of this year we'd start seeing things happening, perhaps slowly, a little bit at a time. They're not going to say, I think, on one day, borders are open, off you go, because it's going to go crazy from a couple of flights to dozens of flights per day, going from tens of thousands of visitors per year to millions of visitors per year. It's a massive jump. So we think it will be some level of sort of staggering or grouping, perhaps by region or by country, or definitely by vaccine status will most likely be part of it. But this extension out until May 2023 is concerning. That is a long extension. Like May 2022, we think perhaps it's there because that will give them some, well, I would have thought a bit of overlap to when things would have sort of gone back to almost to normal, when there was no longer a need for this emergency power. But the 2023 is a big jump. That is a far way away. A lot of power for another 2 years. And I think for those of us who are hoping that this craziness would be ending within the next year, this could be an alert that, at least as far as the government's concerned, we don't have perhaps another year of this. Perhaps we have longer. We were hoping for end of 2021 we start seeing the border opening gradually, but perhaps we're being over optimistic. Perhaps the government's view of this is things will be much worse, will go longer, will be a much more of an issue for longer, and there's a need for this power for another 2 years, 2 months. We're talking about 26 months away here, and this is going to be going to when COVID, we're hoping, is sort of going on a downward trajectory with the vaccines going out. So that is of concern. One thing I also want to mention, I was brought to my attention, we did the video on Friday after the Immigration New Zealand session where we talked about the new systems coming through. They're replacing the online systems with a new online system, and they're going to do it just 1 or 2 visas at a time, starting with the visitor visa in July and then going to another visa in October, and sort of adding things over the next 12 to 18 months. Now, we saw a report from the South African newspaper, the South African something, who were quoting an immigration company who have offices here and in Australia, stating that this was giving a timeline and that they were opening visas in July 2021 for visitors. Now, I can said it on Friday, I'm saying it right now, that is not the case. That is bad reporting, that is bad journalism, and if that was what the immigration company said, and I'm not going to say their name because I think they may have not stated this and the newspaper is just misreading what they have stated, then that is bad advice. The movement in July of the visitor visa applications just moves it across to a new system. It does not mean that offshore applications are opening. They are not opening in July. There's been no indication of that. We cannot see that happening in any way whatsoever, and the extension of the Honourable Chris Fafoi's power for another 2 years would indicate that we're not looking at opening the borders in July. We still have a lot of time to go before the borders are open, and the visitor visas will probably be the final visa that they open up because it is the most generic, sort of the lowest level one. The visitor visa will not come before the other visas. So if you have heard that, if you've seen the article in the South African media, it is not true. It is bad reporting, bad journalism, bad advice. So don't look into that. And that is it for today. Just a very quick video. I have a lot of work to do. I'm going to get back to that. As always, I will try to respond to your messages on YouTube. But if you do want legal advice and us to get involved and give you actual advice, you need to get in contact with us via the email address in the description below, and we will try to respond when we can. It can take a couple of days to respond. We do have a bit of a backlog to get through because we have a lot of work to do. If you found this video useful, please click like. If you want to see more of these videos, please subscribe. We'll get notified as to when these new videos come out. And until next time, nice and short and sweet, but here, kaha, stay safe, and we'll see you sometime next week.